Good Saturday morning to you, Central Alabama. I'm Storm Track meteorologist Michael Smith. A cold start as we kick off our Saturday. Temperatures currently in the 30s and 40s. We're going to talk about the weekend forecast. The CBS 42 Morning News starts right now.
Good morning, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
A 130-page report reveals new details about Governor Robert Bentley's alleged affair with his former top aide, Rebecca Mason. The House Judiciary Committee releases the report. Despite Bentley's objections, we have continuing coverage of everything you need to know this morning. Good morning and welcome to the CBS 42 Morning News. I'm Stefan Dingle. The report accuses the governor of misusing state law enforcement, intimidating and harassing staffers, and creating an environment of fear to hide his affair with Rebecca Mason. CBS 42 News reporter Brittany Bivens begins our coverage with a breakdown of that report.
The House Judiciary Committee report lays out lurid details of Governor Bentley's alleged affair with his top political aide, and an accompanying website shows text messages the governor's wife captured between her husband and Rebecca Mason. But deeper in the report, more allegations about how Governor Bentley tried to cover it up. The report says after Diane Bentley saw these messages, she asked her chief of staff, Heather Hanna, for help making recordings of her husband and Mason. The report says Hanna was later harassed by the governor, her kitchen windows smashed, and her car vandalized with expletives and a death threat. Hanna said she believed it was because she testified before the Alabama Ethics Commission on what she knew about the governor's alleged affair.
Now, that was Brittany Bivens reporting. Meanwhile, state lawmakers react to this new report. Some are calling for Bentley to step down. House Speaker Mac McCutcheon and Alabama State Senate Leader Del Marsh are among the lawmakers calling on Bentley to resign. In Montgomery, others are weighing in after a long day of press conferences and courtroom battles.
I've watched first with Mike Hubbard, then with Chief Justice Roy Moore, and now this ongoing saga with the governor that seems to not end. I told somebody the other day that most circuses have 3 rings, ours has 3 branches.
Now, at the Montgomery County Courthouse, Bentley's legal team argued a motion for a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction before Judge Shaw. Although the new judge, Judge Greg Griffin, granted the temporary restraining order, the damage was somewhat already done. The report was released while both teams were still arguing their case. The relief was been granted, which results in 10 days free of any proceedings. Now, the scandal surrounding the governor has a lot of people in Alabama split. We're asking some of our viewers their thoughts about the report and the impeachment process. One person said, "I think Bentley's affairs have not hurt us. I believe if we looked at others, we would probably see a lot worse." Another viewer wasn't so understanding and said the governor should resign. Now, our newsroom has been following these developments since they first broke yesterday morning. You can find the latest information on our website, WIT.com.
All right, the weekend is finally here. Rough weather over the last week. That's out of here. Nice dry air and cool air across Central Alabama. Right now, as we check out the sky across Magic City, it is clear and cool. 41, average low for this time of year, 48. John's down to 39. Jasper, you're down to 34, along with Coleman. Double Springs, 33. Hamilton, good morning to you. 36. Fayette checks in at 38. Tuscaloosa's at 40. And Talladega right now, you're at 38. So cooler than average as we kick it off. And we're going to take a gradual climb out of the 30s and 40s into the 50s and 60s by 10 o'clock this morning with a lot of sunshine, right around 60. Birmingham, Tuscaloosa in the lower 60s. Not done climbing. If you like it a little warmer, you're going to love the afternoon forecast with very dry air in place. Temperature is very comfortable. We're going to top out in the mid 60s and low to mid 70s later on this afternoon with plenty of sunshine. So a look at our storm track radar. We'll take it nice and dry. Big picture, if you have travel plans across the eastern half of the country, no weather to slow you down. What about our storm track 7-day forecast, rain and or storms? We'll talk about it coming up in just a few minutes. Stefan?
Michael, thank you. Covering Vestavia Hills right now, police are investigating the death of a 1-year-old child who was reportedly locked in a car. Police tell us the boy was found inside the vehicle yesterday afternoon on Columbiana Road. Right now, detectives are only calling the case a death investigation. They're not sure how long the boy may have been in the trunk that was parked at an office building. When police got there, the child's father had the boy, who was rushed by escort to Children's of Alabama. That child died at the hospital, but police say it's too early to tell if he contributed to the death or how long he had been in the vehicle.
When you're dealing with children, it makes it very difficult. Again, I'm a father. Many of our officers are parents. Again, our hearts go out to family, and absolutely it makes it harder.
Now, investigators say it will likely take a few days to figure out exactly what happened. Stay with CBS 42 News for the latest updates online and on air. Developing now, the United States says it will keep pressure on Syria following airstrikes in the country. Meanwhile, we are learning more about the mission that targeted the Syrian airfield that the U.S. says its president used to launch a chemical attack. 50 cruise missiles were fired from 2 U.S. warships. A satellite photo shows the missiles also destroyed ammo dumps, storage sites, and radar stations. The United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting Friday to discuss diplomatic options about the crisis in Syria. New this morning, hundreds of New Yorkers take to the streets to protest Thursday's missile strikes against Syria. Critics of the decision, including these protesters, say the strikes were unnecessary. Similar protests were held in other cities across the country Friday. Breaking overnight in Stockholm, Sweden, they are investigating a truck attack that killed at least 4 people and hurt 15 others. A Swedish prosecutor says a person has been formally identified as a suspect of terrorist offenses by murder. The prosecutor says the unidentified suspect should face a pretrial custody hearing before mid-Tuesday or be released. A man driving a stolen beer truck barreled down Stockholm's busiest shopping street, hitting dozens of pedestrians before ramming into a department store. The country's prime minister said Sweden has been attacked and they're treating it as an act of terror. The city center remains blocked off as the investigation continues. Also developing now, the Senate officially approves Judge Neil Gorsuch to be the 9th member of the U.S. Supreme Court. Judge Gorsuch will replace the late Justice Antonin Scalia, but Democrats urged him not to be ideological in his decisions. However, his confirmation came at a price. Both Democrats and Republicans are warning of extreme partisanship in the future following a rules change which allowed the judge to be confirmed by a simple majority vote. Judge Gorsuch will be sworn in to the Supreme Court on Monday. Now, new this morning, a Tennessee lawmaker is using a lemonade stand to make a statement about gun control. Democrat Mike Stewart set up a stand near the state capitol in Nashville to show how easy it is to buy a gun.
You shouldn't be able to get irritated at a fellow criminal in the morning and buy this weapon and 5 clips and the ammo to fill them so you can go back and shoot him or her in the evening.
Now, Stewart said he bought an assault rifle from a private seller he found on the internet. No questions asked. He later proposed a bill that would limit gun sales to licensed dealers and require background checks. The State House rejected the bill with a voice vote. Also new this morning, a married couple and 3 of their children are killed after a fire starts at a mobile home in Henry County, Tennessee. 2 other children were able to escape while trying to save their families. An 8- and 13-year-old smelled the smoke and ran next door to their grandmother's house, frantically searching for help. The 8-year-old is in the hospital, but thankfully she is expected to be okay. Now, if you plan to drive to Atlanta next week, you may want to rethink your plans. New this morning, Atlanta's mayor says travel times will substantially increase as a stretch of I-85 remains closed. Many Atlanta schools were on spring break this week, temporarily easing traffic congestion since I-85 closed. But Mayor Kasim Reed says travel times will increase by 30% once schools are back in session Monday. Reed is urging companies to consider letting employees work from home or change schedules. Now, still ahead, your time is now 5:09. Severe storms sweep through the nation's capital, causing damage for many. Next, where churches are rebuilding and what happened to some of those famous cherry blossom trees. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.